reimbursement you get back from the highway on payroll.
Is she doing that?
I didn't see it.
No, I don't think she's got those in there yet.
Okay. How much is usually that? Is that like,
23.
so it'd be 23,000 more?
And then, the 31st,
Sorry, clerk.
and that's usually close to 30 something.
So if we get that 23, back from Joe, that puts it 25, and then you said what, 35 or something for the circuit?
Yeah, usually a little over 30.
So that might put us close to 70,000, 65,000.
23, yeah, I wouldn't push it that close.
Okay.
I'll push that. There's a lot of outstanding bills.
Ted said he's got a Office Depot. Told him if he was in contact with you on that.
Yes, he just dropped me off his list. And we just sent $1,800 to Office Depot last paycheck, last pay period. But
That should be close, because the bill was only like 2,300.
22 or 2300.
we just sent him $1,800.
So maybe 500 more. You know,
But I did talk to Sandy yesterday. She said they got the a lot at Office Depot. And it's mainly ink cartridges.
Yeah, we set up on different accounts over there, like one for Sandy's office and one for the sheriff's department. I wonder if they've got it mixed up to where they got Ted shut off, or if they just, if one of them's behind, they shut everybody off. I wonder how that works. Because he said he shut off, couldn't even buy a paper clip over there. That's what he said, that's what he told us.
Well, we sent $1,800. I paid the $1,800 bill to him.
I guess we need to call and get a complete account balance of what Massac County owes and maybe try to figure out. I mean, I'm just talking out, thinking out loud. I don't know if something's going on. He said he couldn't buy nothing over there.
Well, we can call her and check. Because that was one of the ones that went through last time.
I remember signing a
Yeah.
waiver on it.
Because we spent, we tried to catch up a lot of the food. We caught up food bills, Office Depot, and we paid the nap oil for the sheriff's office last time. And the window that had been outstanding since September. Or the replacement of windows.
No, for the sheriff's department.
It was still discontinued glass. It was outstanding since September. And that was 2,000. Otherwise, I don't have much. That's pretty much it.
are you going to any training soon? I know Haley's not today.
I was supposed to go last week,
Okay,
but due to weather, I did
okay.
not go.
Do you have another one coming up?
I have one in February for zone training, and then the comptroller training, the mandatory one for comptroller, is in April.
Okay.
And it's for a week. It's April the 8th through the 11th.
Okay.
And that is mandatory.
All right. What was the one that you missed? What was it going to be
It
covered?
was an introductory for newly elected officers.
Will they offer that again somewhere maybe for you?
Yes. Yeah. They said the zone training, and then the zone training is they have it once a month for any kind of updates for what's going on in the state.
Okay. Well, that'll help you, you know.
Yeah. The zone one for February is February the 8th. So I had that one then, and then there'll be one in March, and then the big one is in April. So,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Drew?
Are we still going to meet tomorrow?
Yeah, if you can, if you want us to call and set that up with them.
Okay.
Anytime after 11 o'clock, I'm available.
Okay, I talked to Mutual Medical,
Okay.
and so I have some information about that.
All right.
Yeah. Okey-doke.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No, you're fine.
Haley comes on.
She's not here today. She's in training,
Gotcha.
but I know you need to get some stuff signed by her today, right?
Yeah, I got a resolution to pass. I could have Lynn sign it for her or something if you guys want to pass it and vote on it.
All right, I'll be right back there. Next door.
Resolution I need to have passed and prepared is for the oil bids for this year. We had a bid opening last Thursday, and usually every year we bid out 3 grades of oil. We use 2 of the grades just doing normal oil and chip operations, and kind of mix and match. I mean, sometimes we don't use one at all. Sometimes we use all of one, or sometimes we mix it a little bit. But anyway, the bids kind of ended up a little weird this time because 2 different companies have got the low on some of the grades. We bid out HFE 150, HFE 90, and RS2, and the low bidder for HFE 150 and HFE 90 was Marathon at $1.783 per gallon, $1.78, 78.3 cents. And then the RS2, which is generally what we use the most of, that bid was, the lowest was Heartland Asphalt, and that's 1.768. So, because we bid out each grade separately, we have to award them separately. We're awarded, aiming to award the low bidder of Marathon for the HFE 150 and HFE 90, and we're aiming to award Heartland Asphalt the RS2. And here's a copy of the resolution if you guys want to look at it. It's really weird. Those are very good prices.
Is that comparable to what you had last year, or cheaper? Or?
It's cheaper. It's actually 10 cents average cheaper than what we're paying per gallon last year.
It's good.
That's excellent.
It'll make the offset for the gravel or the rock going up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Why do you think it dropped? I mean, is it just
Oil's down.
It's just the market. I mean, depends on which month and what time that you're timing on. We just got lucky of bidding it out at a good time.
The fuel's down right now, so that has a lot to do with it.
Last year, I mean, when we bid it out in February last year and got some pretty decent prices, if we would have bid it out in say May, it would have been 25, 30 cents, 40 cents higher per gallon because the market just fluctuates so much like that. So part of it's just getting lucky on timing. These companies, they also put in there that, how much they've committed to for other bids and things like that. It's supply and demand also.
How many gallons do we use?
I've got on here, I brought my glasses with me. I've got on here 85,000 gallons total that we, and that could be
is that
changed.
of
That's
each,
plus or
or
minus.
is that
No, that's total.
That's total.
5,000 gallons of HFE 150, 5,000 gallons of HFE 90, and 75,000 gallons of RS2. That's what I had on the bid forms, and that's, we can fluctuate that slightly whenever we go to actually buying it. But it's going to be real close to that, if not right on that.
Is that about what you bought last year? About amount was, or?
We bought about, I think we bought only 75,000 total last year, so
So
it's about
10,000.
10,000 more. So one extra load. Or no, I'm sorry, two extra
Two
loads.
extra loads?
Yeah.
To do.
And since it is such a good price, I mean, we might want to use a little bit of our reserve money to buy a few extra more loads this year to do a little bit more with. Just because I never imagined it would be this low this year. I mean, they were, just in December, they were telling us they thought it was going to be up over $2.
Really?
And then here we go, it's January, 1 month later, and it's $1.78. I mean, it's, go figure. I don't know how to explain it other than it's the market, and you just have to almost take what they give you, which
I like
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's horrible. But yeah, we got the good end
We
this
get
time.
lucky this time.
We got the good end this time.
Gerald, you got any questions on it?
No.
All right. Well, I say we get a motion to accept this resolution as written for the 2019 oil bids.
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution as written.
Okay. I'll second that. There's nothing for us to sign. You just Haley put her seal on it.
Yeah, just Haley.
Good job.
Did you talk to him on that guardrail?
I did not. I haven't talked to you about yet. They're on Power Church Road. Do you remember that truck that shished above the guardrail?
Yeah, we
We've had a few calls on that.
we got insurance money for it about a month ago. I mean, it took a long time for the insurance company to give us the money for it. And I've had it scheduled with the guardrail company to come do it, but they haven't showed up yet. I'm gonna have
That's something you all don't do. You all sub it out to them. Is that
No,
right?
we don't have the capabilities of doing it. Well, we could struggle through and do it, but it's not very easy without a hammer
Gotcha.
and all that.
Okay.
But
What
Midwest
did they
Fence,
pay us? What did they pay us for something like that?
it was, I can't quote you the exact number because I don't know it, but it's something like $5,800 or something. is what it is.
And that's what they're going to charge us to do it. Well, as long as it's paid for and got on schedule.
Yep,
That's-
and
At least we got something to tell somebody.
I need to call or email the guy that said he was gonna do it. It's Midwest Fence is the company that I got the quote for to do it. And, it's a company that's up around the Chicago area, but they've got a satellite place down here in Buncombe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's the closest one and the one that other county engineers have used around here, so that's why.
Good deal.
Have you used them in the past?
Yeah, I think they've installed a lot of this stuff. We haven't personally used them, but when we let out a contract for a bridge or something, and the contractor that does the bridge sometimes subcontracts the guardrail to them. And I think they've done a lot of it around the county. I don't know which ones, but I think they have, so.
All right.
Good deal. Well, at least we got an answer. That's all we need.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping it would have been done long before now, but it's not. I'll get back on that.
There was a mathematical error on it, on 34, on page 34, so she just corrected it. She
Oh.
just pull out the one that you have and put this in there.
Okay.
And then, we're just adding the 911 budget to the end of our budget, something the auditors requested last year.
Gotcha.
We're just gonna attach that as a copy of his budget. You gonna talk any on Bull Light today, or?
Yeah, that's the only other thing I was gonna bring up, and just general information, I guess, in case this man ever contacts any of you all. There's a guy lives on 50 Bullock Lane, his name's Randy Howe. He's very angry.
What's going on?
Just because when it rains heavy water, it basically just stands all over his yard. I've been out there to investigate it several times, and he's always wanted the highway department to do something to fix it, which, you know, we take care of the roads and roadside ditches, but other drainage that happens, other, you know, on private property and other things, you know, that's just not our responsibility. But he's got a whole, I mean, I sat out there and listened to him for about 45 minutes, just go on and on about what he's envisioning the problems are. And it's not that he's not totally off base on all this stuff. I mean, he is on a few things, but you know, he says that, first of all, his property never used to flood when he first moved there and everything else. He said the main part of the problem is twofold, and that's that the Dunn fellow built all those storage buildings back there, and there's so much more runoff that comes off now, it overloads everything, and it floods his yard, plus floods his neighbor's yards and stuff. I think he gets a bigger brunt of it because I think his yard is probably lower than anyone else.
That's what I was gonna ask, because everybody else is higher than his, I guess, and
Yeah, I mean, so when the ground is saturated, and it, you know, a lot of times it makes its way to his yard.
is that ditch that runs in there, does it run behind his place as well whenever it?
Yeah, and that, well, that's actually, his problem is threefold. First thing he mentioned is Dunn's place, putting all the runoff, that much extra runoff, overloading the road ditch and overloading the backyards and the creek behind his house, and it gets in his yard. Number two is that his neighbor across the street, and I think his last name is Johnston. He used to work for the city of Metropolis sometime. I think his first, I call him Snooky. I don't know
Okay.
who that is.
I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, he's extremely mad at that guy because that guy has brought load upon load of dirt in and filled his lot completely up. And at some point in the past, this Howell guy says it was back in the late 90s or early 2000s that he had installed a culvert all the way in across his front of his yard in the ditch and filled that ditch in to where now the pipe doesn't handle water over there and the water spills over the road and comes onto his property across the road. I was out there when it was raining. I didn't see that happening, but I can't deny that it may happen during downpours and stuff. I don't know. I don't know the magnitude of what has happened there. I tried to not allow that at all as far as filling ditches in and putting culverts in. People claim them so they can mow it, but you have a ditch for a purpose. I keep telling people that ask me to do this nowadays, it's just not suitable to do that because you're going to cause a problem. It causes the subgrade of the road to be saturated, and it does this exact thing that we're talking about now. But the only time that you can have a flat area there without a ditch is when you have storm sewers to handle the water and carry the water away, and inlets. Well, that's not the case when you don't have a curb and guttered street and you're in the county with ditches on both sides. So I try not to let this happen, but nevertheless, that's what we've inherited. I don't know if it was ever approved by the county engineer at the time to do that, or if he just took it upon himself to do it. But he's mad about that. Wants us to dig the pipe out and open the ditch back up over there. I can't attest one way or to the other if that's going to help his problem out much, but I can almost guarantee it's not going to help his problem out to the point where he'd be satisfied with that alone. But that's the second problem. Third problem is that he just says that since the city of Metropolis built the industrial park and there's all that development out there, that's the creek that comes behind his house. He says because of all that development, it's putting that much more water on him, and his backyard gets flooded because of that extra water. You know, in my mind, I can't do anything about any of it, other than possibly reopening that ditch across the street, which that's the least of the problems, I think. But he's also, you know, he thinks that the county owns the creek behind his house, and he wants the county to come in and clear out all the down trees and reopen it up to where it flows. But we don't own any creek anywhere on private property. I mean, all we own is roadside ditches, and that's owning is, quote unquote, that's a bad terminology because we don't own right of way most of the time. I mean, some of the right of way we do own, some of the right of way is just right of way. It's easement. It's stuff that we maintain for drainage purposes. But that behind his house, and he also, the lot next to him, the roadside ditch has to go into that creek via a ditch that goes through the middle of a private lot in Bullock subdivision. He wants us to go in there and clear out that ditch on the private lot, which, as you know, we can't do it. It's private property. We're not supposed to be on private property. I mean, I think we could justify it and do it if the private property owner gave us permission to do it. But, you know, that's opening up a huge can of worms for us to do a lot of work other places, you know, for that. But that problem in and of itself, again, you've got the road, when his yard is standing in water, the road ditch is flowing full, the creek behind his house is flowing full, they're both spilling over into his yard. Doing that work is not going to help matters very much anyway. It's an unfortunate situation, and I understand that people get aggravated about it. That's why I'm trying to talk to him about it and get something to where he'd be satisfied, but I just don't know what that would be. The creek behind his house, he claims, has lost a bunch of its capacity to carry water because of, you know, again, trees falling over in this creek, being stopped up constantly, extra water coming down it. And that creek, as you know, goes under Highway 45, right there between Fawn and Bullock Lanes, and goes over to the DNR's property, which, you know, you've got, I don't know how many miles before you hit the river, or Massac Creek over there. And, you know, that's over there is just a huge swamp that it's been built up, and trees have fallen over in it, and weeds have grown in it, and beavers build dams in it. And, you know, it'd be great if there was some miraculous agency to take care of all drainage everywhere and can keep these things open, but it just doesn't exist. Okay? And then people that have houses and subdivisions that build it in a swamp in a very low area, they get the brunt of the problems, and that's what's happening with this guy. But all of those houses along there are built in a very, very low area, and sure wouldn't have been my choice to develop a subdivision there if it was my choice, but it wasn't my choice. It's been there for, I don't know how many years, 60, 70 years, I don't know how many years. Nevertheless, those people are now feeling some, you know, bad problems here in times of when it's wet. Now, it's not getting in their house. I mean, it possibly could get under their house from time to time, and that's not ideal. So I'm not here trying to assess what kind of damage is being done. But, you know, of course he mentioned that if he has to take this to court and sue people, I mean, that, you know, he doesn't want to do that, but he doesn't know what else to do. And I told him that, you know, if you're talking about Illinois drainage law, you know, other people damaging your property, I said that's really the only recourse you have, because there is no county agency that takes care of this, that polices this. I mean, he's really aggravated that the Dunn guy has built all these storage sheds and it throws that much more water that way. And I told him that's basically because the county doesn't have any zoning ordinances or rules as to development. I mean, basically, you know, if you own a lot in the county and you want to build something on it, as long as you pay for a permit and give the county the building permit money, you can do whatever you want to do, because there are no zoning rules. And whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the way that it happens. You know, it just so happens that this guy built these storage buildings down there to hurt these people.
Now, do you think that's really what happened? I mean, is that?
I'd say that's a big contributing problem to it. Yes, I think that's a legitimate point. I mean, when you take a lot that was grass and, you know, for the majority of it, and then put two huge storage buildings on it, all that extra runoff does increase what hits other properties adjacent to you. Now, if they took their water directly off of their property with gutters and downspouts and drains and put it right to the creek, you know, that would be better if they did that. I don't know how the drainage goes there now. I know some of it just runs right off to the south across other people's properties, and I know some of it goes in our ditch. And of course, this Howell guy says that the Dunn guy blames the county because he says our ditch isn't big enough in front along the road. Well, it's the size that it's always been prior to his development. He isn't sold this to me. That's just what the Howell guy is saying. So again, this is he said, she said stuff. I don't know the validity of that, but basically we can't get our road ditch any deeper or wider because, number one, we can't outlet it anywhere because it's so low, the area is so low. And we don't have any more right-of-way to make our ditch wider to store any more water. Not sure if that would help or hurt anyway, but I was trying to look up, he claims that he doesn't own that creek in the back of his yard, that the county owns it, but I tried to look up a plat of Bullock subdivision in the clerk's office, and I can't find one. I don't know if it was ever platted. I really don't know how we got control of those roads to begin with. I mean, because ever since, I don't know when the first subdivision rules came into play with the county, but in order for us to accept a road, a subdivision is supposed to be platted. I don't even see that one's been platted, but it might be, and I just can't find it. But nevertheless, I'm not, in a nutshell, I'm not being very much of a help to this guy because I can't answer hardly any of his questions. But I do know he's aggravated at the development next door, and he's aggravated as across the street neighbors were filling his ditch.
And what is this gentleman's name?
His name is Randy Howell.
He's on down the road a little bit then, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'm looking at
at
the
least
plat.
halfway back.
I'm looking at the plat now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the 5th one down from Dunn's storage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's no way we can get the water from his yard into the road ditch anyway because his yard is so much lower than the ditch is. If you go out there, you'll be able to see that just with your eyes.
This shows that creek going through, and it shows everybody's property line going down to the creek.
Yeah, that's what the tax assessor map shows. That's why I was trying to look up a plat to see what the plat shows, but I can't find a plat. I looked up his deed. His deed describes his property as stopping on the west bank of that creek. So his deed supports what he's telling me. But again, I don't know. That just goes back to the past practices and the current practices of what the county has allowed as far as subdividing property, buying lots. It's just not been good. I mean, I know people hate rules, but I'm a strong supporter of rules just because of this reason. It's all good when nobody has a problem with it, but as soon as somebody has a problem with it, you have no answers. You have nothing to look to go by. So, I'm saying this is probably highly just informational because I don't even know what to ask you all. I mean, there's nothing that I know of that I could do to help this man or even shed any light on it. If he thinks his property is being damaged because of drainage that doesn't follow the Illinois drainage law, then my only suggestion to him would be you have to get an attorney and take it to court. How that would end up in the end, I don't know. I mean, that's for a court to decide. But I can tell you one thing. The roadside ditches, we've cleared out the ditches along his property a couple of times since I've been county engineer, and they're about as clean and clear as what they can possibly be on a normal basis. And they do carry water. Are they overloaded though? Yeah, they're overloaded. I mean, when it rains hard, they don't stay in the ditch. It overflows the ditch.
some pretty good bills on some truck repairs, didn't you?
Yeah. There's gonna be another one coming in too, because another one of our trucks is getting fixed.
Is that the one that you had deleted, or?
One of them, that's, yeah, one of them on these bills is, and then we're having another one deleted.
At least that'll be the end of the bills anyway, 'cause that should solve the problem, I'd hope.
Yeah, the one we did get deleted has been running really good
Yeah,
so
usually
far.
you take that EGR def crap off of it.
So far.
Everyone got their clothing allowance, the $500 ones on it.
This time, yes.
Seen that.
Well, keep us updated.
We got one more here, or two more. That one still needs to be signed by those two guys.
Oh, this one? Yeah, it's the chip one.
Did you get that voicemail I sent to you?
Yep. I don't know how many complaints she actually wants, but what do you think about that?
You could overload her with something, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she was more talking on that though, as to if they're new installations, not, I don't know how many years old some of these are,
Right.
you know, because there's not a current contractor that can fix anything when it's just a private property owner that there's a pipe going into the ditch.
Right.
What do you do then? You just require the private property owner to do something about it then. But I'm not sure if she's willing to take that on or not. Because if we start treating everybody equal in that and doing all the ones that we see, I mean, there's no telling how many complaints we could log in the county. I don't know if we want to start doing that. That's
Yeah.
you know, people aren't going to be happy if we start putting complaints in, if the highway department does.
I think just move forward, if we see.
I'm just going to suggest that if a private property owner calls me and wants me to do something about it, I'm going to give them her number and say, the only way that you can be solved is for you to log a complaint, and I'm going to kind of stay out of it, unless it's a significant problem for us for some reason.
Yeah.
I think that's the smartest road that I can take right now. Because if I start reporting one here and one there, and then cause somebody to have to fix something that costs them a bunch of money, then they're going to start saying, well, why didn't you report them, or why didn't you report them, or why didn't you report them? And I'm going to get into this thing where I'm logging a complaint every day. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if you guys want me to do that.
Okay.
It's a vicious circle.
I don't have anything else. I don't know, Gerald or Jeff.
Nope.
I'll talk to Steve both later today.
Okay.
And,
How much a stretch of road is he thinking about having done?
basically from the bridge to Airport Road, which is about 2,250 feet is what I've measured it at.
How far?
2250. So at the current prices, that would cost him probably around $12,600 to something to do. Still a big chunk of money.
Yeah, it is.
All right, thank you.
Guys did there.
Thank you. Big George. It's that cool.
We're gonna try.
Let's see, do you guys have any further questions about those?
No, I think, I think we're good with it.
Okay.
I think we're just gonna vote on accepting that because it's something that is new and something that is probably needed for each of the, for security for the courthouse and then also for the annex buildings. So,
I've also come up with a solution for in the treasurer's office and when we do in the circuit and the county clerk's office. Currently, they're using like a Windows XP based operating system to access Fike and Fike downstairs in the basement off the assessor server. I've got an adapter. It's a USB to Ethernet adapter, and I can put it into their Windows 10 operating system, plug it in there, and then I can set it up to where it can access the Fike and Fike there, where it's a little more secure. We're not using Windows XP. I did a little trial test on Jody's computer, and it's working fine. So I've got the adapters and ordered, and then also the existing monitors that are there in the treasurer's office. I've got an adapter also to where we can just, it'll be like an extended screen from what they, where they can just pull something over, kind of more dual operation, instead of just having no use for those monitors. So,
what do you think on that, Gary? Is it that Fike and Fike, he said something that he's pulling from your office downstairs?
Well, all I know is we really should have just one. I think you'd agree with that, instead of having two separate accesses to the...
right now they've got...
I've always said this has been an issue here.
The Fike and Fike, that's accessing on the Windows XP terminals of the treasurer's office. I'm going to have it set up now where they'll be able to access it through their Windows 10 operating system, working more secure with the patches until we can combine both networks together.
And that's what we need to have one network, not two separate ones.
Okay.
But for that kind of help, that's one security point. With Windows XP not having patches anymore, they don't support that and the security of it. But with Windows 10, it'll be we should be stepping a step forward. I know if Haley said we met with the elections board, had the
She's not here today, she's in training.
oh yeah, that's right, I seen her post Facebook, she was in Springfield. We had a meeting with the kind of a risk assessment sort of deal with the county clerk's office. I haven't seen the results of it, and she's not forwarded anything to me just yet. But a few of the things that come up, there's a lot of areas that we're lacking with no certain IT policies in place for how we get rid of an old computer, how do we put a new one in service, how do we destroy any of the data that is on an existing computer that we get rid of. There's a lot of things that we do not have in place.
So y'all working on the action plan for that?
I asked her when she goes up there, some of her trainings and stuff, to see if there's any other county clerk's office that have a model policy that we could maybe adjust to Massac County, and see that start there. I'm going to try to reach out to some of my friends in the field and see if they have any model policies. If not, I'll just start from scratch. Honestly, there's a lot of things in place right now we need to do to get the county clerk's office, or actually all of our offices, secured. The grant money, the reason that the election board come up with the Innovation and Technology Office is basically because there was some, due to the recent election, when Donald Trump got in, everybody was saying, hey, the Russians got in and messed with everything, tampered with it, which of course, actually there was a lot of issues. There was things in place because these offices are not secured and notifying outside threats. So we're going to try to start getting this balls rolling with that. So.
But this system, this courthouse security upgrade that we're putting in, that's
a step forward. That's a step forward. Then also our policies and like the users, not going to like a gaming website. We all go to those Facebook games, but those actually are not as secure as what you think they are. We could put these things in there, but also it goes back to the end users making sure they're trained on security awareness training. You know, like if you see an email come from somebody with a odd name and you're like, who is this? And there's a picture attached to it. Are you going to open it? I mean, chances are us being curious, your mind's always curious, we're going to click it, we're going to open it, oh, and then next thing you know, it's fried. Your computer's fried because of the attachment. So that's a step. It will help us, and it will notify us anytime anybody's anytime something's trying to access us through the policies that are not granted. But it always goes back to the end user, making sure that we do security awareness training with everybody who's accessing it. Also, another good thing is the Illinois, I think it's a Century network that we connect leads through our leads in CIC, like the sheriff's office. It's basically a pipeline directly to the SOS office, and then it goes out from there. The elections board, the county clerk's office has the opportunity to use that and use the grant money attached to that for the elections board. So that's another secure connection that they can use. We're possibly going to be piggybacking off the sheriff's office fiber line that is there. We're working with Keith Davis on that part. There's a lot of things in works. It's just going to take time. A lot of time, a lot of effort to get us where we want to be at. But the risk assessment results, I haven't seen if they come back yet. So, but these the firewalls that we're going to be taking and trying to put in play here, that will be a really big step. Block a lot of things, unnecessary things that we know that are scaring our networks and stuff. I mean, my office just had last night somebody who just tried to go in and scan our network. I mean, they blocked it, of course. It didn't tell me who, but the threats are there. We hear about Target and some of the other retailers out there that they got their credit card data and they have to issue a new credit card. That's because of things like this. And being a county government, we always think, oh, we're small Southern Illinois, we're not on target. Well, we are. But any questions for me? All right. My next question is, are they going to be putting drop tile ceiling in here?
The hallway.
In the hallways, yeah.
Eventually, after we put the vents, the piping in for the Century there.
Okay. Would you guys be all right when they start putting that in place, when they put the grid up, if I start running Cat 5, some Cat 5 drops and some spare lines and stuff?
For the offices to communicate?
Yes.
That'll be a while before they do it. I mean, that'll probably be the last on the list.
Yeah, probably be this fall.
Okay.
Before they would be doing that.
All right.
So you got plenty of time to...
Alrighty. I just wanted to check and make sure it was all right with you guys before I did anything like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd like to, we need to make a motion on these two expenses here. One is the courthouse security upgrade for the computer system to monitor the network. It's $2,530. And the other expense was for $729.40 for the courthouse annex to properly store the phone network system and everything that's there.
Is that going to be a table, or is it going to get everything up off the floor? Foot, 2
Yeah,
foot, 3 foot?
it's basically there's shelving. There's going to be shelving in place for the cable modem boxes, the phone modems, and then there's going to be a patch panel that everything connects to, and then it will run over to what's existing on the wall. The two big servers, the shelves, the weight spec should be right. I should be able to put at least a couple on there, and anything else will be sitting up on tied up on the shelf, on the table there.
But everything won't be a rat's nest anymore. It'll be
No.
nice and neat.
It should be nice and neat.
I'll make that motion to
All right.
move on with this.
All right, I'll second that. So we'll get that taken care of for you.
All right, so it gives me permission to go ahead and order it?
Mhm.
All right, so good. All right, guys, thank you so much. The floor is yours, Gary.
I feel like I walk into an electric chair there. Are you ready for it? Did you have something else business-wise you need to do first, or?
We're going to talk about the budget, 10:15, unless you want to talk.
I just wanted, I haven't talked to you guys in a while.
Okay, yeah, come on.
It's not that I've been avoiding you, but I've been avoiding you, no. Been busy. I don't have much to report other than we got the tax cycle done. It's in the paper that we got our final multiplier, so my end of the tax cycle is done. again, we've got this cycle caught up. Hopefully we can get tax bills out early and we can move this process where it's supposed to be statutorily. So other than that, I don't have anything else unless you guys got any questions. Again, I'm going to start reassessing and start getting things rolling.
What's your focus on reassessing this year? Is it
Here
City metropolis.
in parts of this town where, there's homes been, vacated, and it seems to be my biggest challenge is the low-end houses. I'm not sure how in the world I can ever stay on top of all of it, but
Yeah, there's been a lot of demos.
yeah, there has been. And of course, I get that information when that happens, but we do have pockets where the values are just plummeting. But overall, it still shocks me, some of the sales we have, everybody says there's, property's not moving, but I've got data that says otherwise. So it's, it's not going up, but it's kind of...
Do you know how many home sales there were in 2018?
I don't have that number handy,
Yeah.
Jason, but if I was to guess, I would probably say somewhere between 125, 150, somewhere between there. So it seems like more of the low-end sales are moving.
Yeah, I've noticed everything about 80,000 or below has
Yeah.
been the hot.
I would agree with that. Again, there's been, I don't know, somewhere between 6 to 10 sales over 200,000. So,
Yeah, I've noticed
sometimes
those. Yeah.
that surprises people, but
Do you know how many new homes we picked up in 18?
I think there was probably about 10.
10.
I think, approximately. I know that still having that big problem with people building without getting building permits. And I guess I can maybe have another conversation with Josh about, seeing what we can do, but I know a couple that, even when I send them letters, they don't even respond.
When's the next fly over the
It's coming in March.
March?
Yeah, so I really wish I had the ability to find some of these people worthwhile amounts of money so they get the attention, or the contractors, but that's gonna take you guys to do something, in a resolution or something to be able to do something, but
So the GIS flowers in March, when do you usually get that back?
usually within a couple months, so
And then you just take that, put it over the old one,
Yeah,
you're able to pick up anything new?
I can look at it side by side.
Yeah.
I just scour through it, and it doesn't take me that long, just to kind of see, sometimes it's kind of misleading because they'll put up these,
Quonset heads or something.
yeah, do they add value? Yes, but is it significant?
Or they'll put a carport. that's
Carport.
Yeah.
But again, this resolution should be a little better, so I can go completely around the property and get a visual of better than just being out there in a lot of cases. So,
When it comes in, I'd like to see that.
yeah,
That'd be pretty neat. to look.
yeah. Again, what public doesn't understand, what I have online, the public sees is okay, pretty good, but what I got is real good. Because I can literally twist your house around and see all sides of it.
360.
360.
Can you see my window?
Can't quite see in it, but if somebody had a tennis ball with a date on it and sitting outside, I could read it.
Really?
It's pretty scary.
I'm gonna try that.
You more than welcome to come down and,
No, I mean, I'm gonna put a tennis ball.
go and put the date on there?
Yeah, I'm gonna say hi, Gary.
Yeah, see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is scary what they can do with this resolution. That's where I think a lot of the assessment world is gonna change to where it's not necessary for me to go out there. It's gonna be necessary for me to go out there because we can't do a flyover a year, but some of this is gonna be better than me getting out there, getting out of my car and somebody saying, what are you doing? And then allowing me on their property, I can go around it without even getting out of my car. So, it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be very, very worth the effort that we're putting into it, so. And that'll keep us busy for a while with that. So otherwise, I think everything's going well.
Good.
But I don't think, again, if you guys ever have anybody ask questions, please direct them down to me. I have people all the time, if they just come talk to me, they've heard horror stories of how mean I am, and it's like, it's not the case. We try to, if we can do something, we'll do something. But if we can't, the one I get upset about is the guy comes in and says my house is worth 125 and they have it on the market for 175. That's the only thing that really bothers me. Otherwise, I can't, I'm not in these houses, so I can't really know 100%.
Right.
But I would say the percentage is about 96, 97% how it looks on the outside is how it looks on the inside.
Gary, those girls that you had, Debbie's grandkids, are you going to use them this year?
Yeah, I'm going to continue because they're doing a lot of data entry. They've done all the scanning.
I know.
And
They did a good job.
Well, and it helps with getting the information out there for everybody, because the more information I have out, the less people are in there interfering with the staff concentrating on what they're doing. That's the key. And that's why we're able to do things for the budget. We're able to do it is because all this stuff is transparent.
You pay them out of GIS?
Yeah.
Should-
They do with the GIS data, so yeah.
But should you put that down as part-time, or is that,
It's just part of the GIS expense.
okay. I know you didn't have any part-time,
No, it's just,
and
I mean,
I just wondered how you did that.
yeah.
Okay.
And now with Butch and everything, I just got Butch collecting GIS data. So when he does work, and he only works maybe 10 days a year.
But he's not going out in the field anymore?
If he does, we're out there collecting GIS data.
Okay.
But, you know, I've done everything I can to keep my office as fiscally responsible as I can.
I think that was his mother-in-law, father-in-law died.
Yeah, he did Saturday.
Yeah.
They had the funeral yesterday.
Didn't know
Gina's
that.
dad.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you know Lev?
Yes.
That's over at that house on Second. She come running by. And she didn't say anybody dying. I didn't even know it. And I talked to her for a while. And she wanted, I guess she's a cat person. She wanted to know if I saw any cats in that house. I said, no. She said, well, I said, do you want a cat? She said, no, but I'll get them out and find them home.
You got about 4 at the house, Gina, that's
So,
good.
okay. So, you know, then I saw in the paper that next morning where he had died.
Anything else? Any other questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Concerns?
No, we're good.
Thank you.
Like I said, I think we've got things going really well. So hopefully we can continue.
Thank you,
Thank
Gary.
you, Gary.
Thank you.
Yeah, she just said, she made a mathematical error on it, she corrected it.
4,000. I'm not sure.
They used to go to Zion Church. I
Out
don't
there
know.
on Country Club,
Yeah. That,
he's a pretty good man.
I didn't know him very well, but when I was a kid, that's where I used to go to church. They were always there.
I don't know where they,
Is his wife still alive?
yeah,
She is.
she was a Windhorse.
She was?
I didn't know that in the paper, but
Well, the Wind Horses went to church there too, I guess. 'Cause when I was younger, they did.
they lived up there in the country by that Windhorse.
I went through it yesterday, and it looks like everything matches up with what we had worked on. I didn't know if y'all...
I'll take home with her. When you put it on there?
Well, we need a vote today just to put on display. But we won't pass it until after that 15 days. We just put on display for the county clerk's office to have it in case anybody wants to review it.
Yeah, I'll look at it this week.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with putting on display.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll make a motion then to display the 2019 budget for 15 days available at the county clerk's office.
Second.
Also, this year I attached the 911 budget on there. Last year in the audit, they requested it to be on there. So this is our copies if y'all want to take them.
Revenues are projected to be 280,000 more, looks like.
Yeah. I mean, you got the actual, what we had from that printout from JJ.
You heard from,
And then we kind
yeah,
of
have you heard from
extended
Jim?
them out a little bit, hopefully to cover everything.
Hello.
The additional officer, we should have more coming to the state's attorney's office, the circuit clerk. What's wrong, Gerald?
Hello, hello, hello. Right.